was just watching uh how fucking ridiculous this bricks and minifigs thing is getting. Um, and I want to comment. I want to join the conversation. I have a personal experience that I want to add that is what helps me make my decision in favor of the man who lost his collection because corporate greed is disgusting. So, on my occasion, I went to a Bricks and Minifigs store in San Luis Obispo. I believe it's a Bricks and Minifigs store. I may have to look it up and double check to see. Um, but it was a Lego reseller. I don't know if they are like a corporate reseller. Um, I just know when I went in there, there was one particular Lego set, and I do understand some you'll be able to find deals at certain stores or whatever, but the markup on the price of the set, it did 2 things. One, it made me feel like, "Oh, man, I got a really great deal." And then the second part was it made me not wanna shop in that store because I realized that everything is 4 times inflated over the price that you can pay if you were to source it from another location. So, that experience alone made sure that I would never be a customer of that store. Um, and the specific item, it was a Groot. It's a Groot articulating, I don't know what it is even. It's like a not Groot, Rocket. It's articulating Rocket from Marvel, and it I got mine from Target, I think 15 bucks. I got 2 of them. They were selling it for like 55 or $65. Um, so one one of the same item from their store was 3 or 4 of the one that I paid for, and, like, that price markup is huge. So, again, I won't ever be shopping at their store, and I think it's hilarious that they're getting exposed now for just, like, that same type of corporate greed. Um, to allow this to continue this long, you think that they are considering it uh good press or good publicity, and then the longer it goes on, you start to uncover all these other YouTubers or Lego fans who have similar stories. Like I watched the guy who did a test on a bunch of different stores, a few different bricks and minifigs, and he says that they want to just offer him between 6 and 20% of the value of the items that they would be reselling. So they're really taking advantage of kids who don't know better and just want money. Um, it's not that does not seem like, I guess if you are desperate to resell your stuff, go on ahead and do it. Um, but using eBay is not that hard. I can tell you a better way to sell your stuff right now. Um, if you have the time and ability and want to actually make your money and not lose it to a place that wants to take your entire $200,000 set on consignment, um, eBay may be a better option because you control it. The only difference is you would have to have a place to store it. So I've had a storage unit that's gotten broken into. So you're at just as much risk of losing your set on your own as you are putting it in a store. But the funny thing is that the store allows for a like this is something that they do. It's part of their business. So this whole thing is really funny. You should be at less risk of losing things when you put stuff on consignment. You have a better chance of selling it because it's a store where people go to buy that type of stuff. But maybe it's just my opinion. If they know, like when you're in the right place, you're able to get the right amount of money for your you're able to get what you're worth, okay? So if you are um trying to resell Legos to a Lego reseller and they're lowballing you, that's not a place you should go to. That it's just simple as that. And I think it's the Lego craze is even I got into it. It's like it's silly. Oh, they're not each brick is worth 10 cents, bitch. Right? If you want to dress it up and make it look nice, okay. I understand licenses, right? So you're paying for a licensed product that you're gonna then sit on and hope it resells based off of the success of that license. I don't buy licensed sets, so my collection is like the least valuable maybe. Um, I don't buy Legos to collect them. I buy Legos as a therapy tool. These people are monsters. Legos are for kids, people with free minds. Like it's supposed to be if you think about the Lego company as a whole and how they've um like cultivated the Lego experience, maybe many people don't know like Lego, I don't know if they still do it, but Lego offers their employees food, but it's only healthy choices. They've banned soda because they know it's not good for you. That's like a company I support because of those reasons. They are trying to promote positivity. But also recently, I guess a lot of people got into like this whole I quit Lego, and I don't know if that's just to get views or whatever, but it's a funny thing to see adults. They're not even acting like kids. They're acting like I don't know how to describe it. Please go watch all those videos. It's definitely more interesting than anything you'll find on TV right now. A bunch of bad actors. Um, and then let's get into like the stalking parts of it. Because I'm going through the same thing, except for I don't understand why I'm going through it. Uh, and there has been no legal contact with me. Like I've never been in trouble as an adult, at least. Uh, in a way that requires law enforcement to come and communicate with me. So I have not been told who is responsible for my stalking. I believe it has more to do with my big mouth and the people that I talk about and the ways and things and how they've harmed people. But um right, like you can't get someone to shut up. Someone who's been abused and is exposing an abuser. This is my situation. I am exposing abusers, and through that, I am being proxy stalked by people who believe that they can eliminate me because they control my mental. They don't control my mental. And watching this story, it's very funny to see what other people are going through who deserve this type of activity. So what I mean by deserve it, like you guys stole a fucking Lego collection. Give that shit back, man. Give that shit back. $200,000. You have a whole fucking corporation and a business. This is for publicity. It's bad. And you gotta like clearance out all your stores if you ever want to recover from this. I really don't like no. Go buy your shit from Lego, resell it on eBay, and leave that fucking store alone. Um, watching them watch all those videos is funny. They're using it's like a secret society. What Ben and his friend explain in one of the videos is they've joined cults and exposed them. That's all that's going on here. They didn't join this cult. They're just putting their video cameras in the city and they are recording the goofy ass fucking goof troop activity. Uh, and when you listen to the cops, you can tell they're not as educated as you would want your law enforcement to be. They are using tactics, like they're bullying people, just straight up bullying people. How are those police officers? We need, but that's the thing. We cannot have higher requirements, higher, what is it, prerequisites or whatever for our cops because nobody wants to join the force then. At least in Los Angeles, our cop force, the reason I came on here is because at 4:28, a police siren drove by, and I understand I live in the city and that's something that's very common, but it's also something that has been used against me as a harassment tactic by the police force. Um, every time I even think about walking outside, that thought is followed by the sound of sirens. And I am positive that it's part of this because I've started taking notes. So whenever I hear them, I take notes about what I was thinking immediately before because I'm trying to prove that people have access to my brainwaves and they're using my brainwaves and knowledge of my thoughts to actively harass me. So I don't know if Reckless Ben has this available to him, but he has available to him the members of the people who subscribe to him, the people who are aware of what he's doing and support him. And I actually support him because what I see it as is somebody using their whiteness for good. If he were to be a black person, it's just getting yourself arrested and nobody's gonna give a shit, right? If he were to be melanated, it would not make it as far as it's made it on YouTube. So this kid is basically sacrificing his freedom and his criminal record to recover a $200,000 Lego set person. He has valued his freedom at $200,000, right? If he probably is going to make way more money off of all the views that he's getting, and I hope he does because this I like seeing this type of shit. These people are factually guilty, in my opinion. These people are factually guilty of a crime that's not being handled professionally by law enforcement. So you now have a goofy ass. I'll call him goofy because this is funny as fuck, and I feel bad for whatever he's going through. But this he's in it. It's like the same as I am. I don't care what happens. People, I want you guys to talk about this. I want you to talk about me. I want you to talk about the situation, and I want you to understand this can happen to any innocent person. Um, Ben may not be 100% innocent, but he's smart enough to use his uh his popularity to help get the conversation out there. I'm not as popular as Ben, uh, but maybe the girl who wants to traffic me and hold me in my apartment every day, maybe she can make me that popular. That's why I keep posting the videos. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy when you're standing on a sidewalk. My video is not stalking when I'm recording a video in the route course of me going from work to home. I have a reason, factual reasons to travel the route that I'm traveling. Maybe you do too, uh, but I'm just pointing out the coincidences that lead me to believe you're a stalker, right? I don't know how many videos you have of me where I am just out walking and like when I go out on just a day when I'm walking, how many videos do you have of me just showing up where you're at? You don't. Where do you have Oh, there was one day I was sitting at Target and this bitch comes to Target and she's expecting me to get a video of her. Bitch, why do you follow me everywhere, girl? Like literally. And it's two of them. That same day, they come in numbers. So I was sitting at Target. It's Leo, the tenant here, and then her. I was at Target first. I'm not stalking you if you come to where I'm at. Do you understand what stalking is? You don't know? Maybe your brain doesn't work? Um, so that's just in my situation. Tenants from my building have knowledge of my whereabouts, and then they strategically arrange themselves in positions where I will see them as I am en route to my home. And they believe that it will create a situation where I give them a voice file or whatever. Um, it's still up in the air about the voice file, whether they're using it for their AI videos or whatever. But I'm a peaceful person, and the only way that they can get me to say anything is by this continued harassment. So Um, and if you think I am not a peaceful person, I am passionate. It's not violent. It's peaceful and passionate. Um, Violence only comes if it's brought to me. So that would be self-defense. It will be very violent. I can promise that one. And then what else I wanted to say? Ben is like, I look good in orange. That's how this is looking. Ben said, I don't care. I look good in orange, and he's gonna fight this, and I love that. Um, I pray that they decide to man up and give the fucking Lego set back and get this shit over with. You're giving everybody a bad name. Um, Anybody, put yourself in this guy's shoes, right? Like, you really don't know, but I think it's hilarious. $200,000 for a company of that size, I don't think is that much, in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it is. But like, I'll talk about past jobs, I think, since I can do that better. Past jobs that I've had, I do accounting, I work in accounting, and in past jobs, I have collected more than $200,000 like in a day. So that's why I don't like money to me sounds silly, right? I've seen a lot of money. So this is silly. As a company, what are you trying to do? You're ruining your company because you don't want to back down. You don't want to do what's right. Like, I can't tell you how many people will never shop at your store because of this. Maybe that's what you wanted. So that's the other thing. What this group of people they've released unredacted video, right? And these people are talking about other instances. It's like the whole peoning thing where they take someone's business from them, someone who's done wrong. So let's go to my situation. There was a tenant here named Jalen who has a fashion company. No, what is it called? No, no rivals is what it's called, right? This is the same kid that was seen in front of my door, like doing similar stuff as the stalkers, the people who are stalking me. The same kid who lived in my building, and I have tons of GoPro video of when they thought they were gonna get me out of my apartment and make me homeless and make me carless and jobless. I have endless GoPro video. They had it so that uh I was in, let's say, Josh's situation in this story, right? Josh is the bad guy in the bricks and minifig story. Um they had it so I was constantly calling the cops because they were doing little things to harass me. One of those things was like taking my car keys from inside a box in my apartment and moving them. Uh, and I know because it's like a makeshift Faraday box for my keys because I live in Los Angeles, and uh there's people with knowledge of Amazon devices you can buy for like 30 bucks that will let you bridge the gap between someone's car and their house. So if you live in Los Angeles and you use a clicker keychain, you should never, ever, ever leave your keychain by your door at nighttime. These people, that's how they're stealing your cars. Um, so it's not fear mongering. This shit really happens. If you look up like top 10 stolen cars and you have one of those, you really should put your key in a little secret box. Um, so back to when this was at the height of me being in fight or flight mode, that's the things that they were doing. And I continue to this day to have to use like silver mesh fabric when I have my keys in my purse. Um, I don't use the button to click my door. Uh, but they start owning you one thing at a time. So once they have access to your apartment. You cannot store anything in your apartment. There's nothing you can store in your apartment that they cannot get to. So you would then be forced to get a whole video camera system, which they will then hack so they can monitor your every move. But at least you know they're not going in your apartment, right? But now they have knowledge of every time you exit your door. because they're watching you through your own cameras. So when they meet you in the hallway, it's because they spent all night awake in the room upstairs from you, watching cameras of your every actions, trying to decide what their next steps are. And they're not just doing this based on their own knowledge of you, they're trying to use AI to figure out what your most predictable pattern is. As a person with ADHD and autism, there's nothing predictable about me. This is so much fun. I am still having fun, I can say. As much as they think at this point in time I'm supposed to be in fight or flight mode and fearful of my life and all kinds of shit, I continue to persist because you guys are idiots. You're using a computer. Like, I wonder how many of you did not have to take the SATs. And then I wonder how many. So going back to like how Josh is the victim now is being targeted, and the cops are trying to make it look like Josh is the victim because social media, I don't know if it's even a an organized network, but people on social media can organize in a matter of seconds. So uh I cannot say that the stuff with Ben is like RICO or conspiracy. That's just simply the public being curious about something and then it just multiplying exponentially. Um, but as far as my situation, I consider it to be organized crime and a RICO situation because of how long it's gone on and how many of the players are the same players. It's the same people from when I first started. I think only one of them has moved out. One of them no longer actively harasses me. Uh, but within the last week, I will say I've seen probably still like five. I want to say there's maybe 10 of them in my building, if not more. Um, and in any given week, I'll see about 5 of them repeatedly. It's a building with 30 units, and I never see any of the other neighbors. It was like a month ago, the first time I saw one new person. Uh, and everybody else just kind of hangs out by the front door every time I'm coming or going. But since I started recording every time I leave my apartment, like part of the reason that's the unredacted video part because I'm trying to prove that I'm not the fucking stalker. So I have to start recording when I leave my apartment uncut just to make it out my front door. So every day I leave my apartment, I have to record from my door until I make it out the front door so you can get an idea of how much time these people waste trying to make me feel like I gotta go somewhere. I don't have to go anywhere. If you are not paying rent or if your Section 8 needs need to be met by you performing stalking activities, you don't deserve an apartment here. Um, right? And then I've commented on like the police force and the requirements for police, how they continue to get lower until it's just a gang member. It's a gang member force. And they don't even care what their boss says because there's so many of them involved and part of it that they don't have to. They get to do what they want. They can run the streets. They run the streets. That's the reason why every time I think about going outside, it's either fire sirens or police sirens. Often they're not speeding, so they're not in a rush to go anywhere. Uh, I've heard out of like the last 10 times I've heard sirens, maybe two have been at a pace where it sounds like they're going to an emergency. Um, I'm just like noting these simple things. So 4:30 in the morning, the time like crime happens at all times, you know. But you can make it a deep state if you harass an entire community. We are in a deep, I don't even know what I'm saying. Everybody's being surveilled. You can't say that I'm a stalker when every single person has a phone, a camera on their phone. I'm not a stalker, bitch. Apple is a stalker. Why does your phone have to have a camera? Why do you want that phone so bad? Because it's got a camera so you can walk around just taking pictures whenever you want? Yeah, exactly. So I can take pictures of whatever I want, whenever I want. What I find funnier is um, your inability to notice when somebody is trying to enter a building and you're standing in the way. In my mind, that's human trafficking, right? If I'm standing there and I have to take a seat out, I have to put a chair down because I know that your ass doesn't have a key to the building and I'm not going to look like I'm letting you in. I don't want to have a personal experience where we exchange pleasantries. I don't want to be pleasant to you, and it has nothing to do with your sexual preference. It has nothing to do with you at all. But you can try to make you could use your friends in the video that I posted, to try to make it seem like I'm the bad. When your friend's saying that's illegal, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like someone trying to make up a narrative because what you are doing is actually the thing that is illegal. I love this. Please continue to look your IQ out on the streets. You guys look very much your IQ. If your IQ matches your age, no wonder you're doing this. Hmm. I think that's it. I've insulted you backhandedly enough. Have a great night. Morning. I gotta go to work. A job that I do to get paid money legally without hurting people. At least no part of my job directly involves someone else's misery. Right? Misery if you don't have enough money to pay your bill, but no part of my job is ruining someone's life. Not directly, at least. So I don't ever want to have part of that. Uh, I believe people should be left alone and left to do the best that they can do. When you interfere with people, like even this guy Josh, leave his dumb ass alone and let him continue to be the criminal he is. He'll get himself into something. Um, oh, going back to the P owning. So what this is like this generation's way of showing that they should be listened to. And I'm kind of here for it because I think what this guy did is wrong. But at the same time, because I have knowledge that it can happen to innocent people as well, because it's happening to me, that's the part I don't agree with. I want people to fact check. Some of these people that they set up don't have the energy to fight. Like if I were to have uh some kind of emotional problem, something I cared about so much, and you guys messed with that. And like, you have every ability to set somebody into a spiraling circle downward, like a path to destruction. I'm so thankful that I know you are what you eat, quite literally, and the food that you ingest controls how your brain waves act, all that, your neurosynapses, all your ability to function, right? When you don't, you're eating science experiments. They just said something about rocket fuel and a bunch of food, baby formula. What do you think they're doing? This is Satanism at its best. Satanic fucking worshippers are heading every single company out there right now. And that's the reason the government is the way it is. Think about it. People go to lobby for things that they want, right? Politics, all of that shit. So once you get all of these people in place, it's no wonder why things are the way they are. Why does Mexico not use high fructose corn syrup? And then I'm trying to find out, like, maybe I need to get more I don't know. I'm so in my own world. I don't think about you know them in the back of your head, but you don't let them control you. But maybe you should pay a little bit more attention to them. I can't figure out why. In my opinion, like Mexico has better food standards than we do. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but just from certain things that I've seen, like soda. Soda is maybe one of the most addictive things apart from sugar, right? Um, in America, our soda is high fructose corn syrup. Why? And then I bring this question, why do people from Mexico want to come to America so bad? Like, this is just me being stupid and ignorant when they have better food down there, like more natural food. Mexicans in America eat better than Americans, right? For the most part, but a lot of the stuff that they buy that is manufactured by large companies or whatever has shit you shouldn't be eating in it. In America, I don't know about Mexico, but when you read ingredients, you can see they're trying to fucking kill you. So when I every time, and you should look too, when you go shopping, look at the ingredients on the food you're eating and see how good you feel about eating that food still. When you go and pick up all your box and canned and convenient foods off the shelf and you read the ingredients and then you go out in the day, like if you're eating 3 meals in a day, say you're a real health, you think you're really healthy because you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're not reading ingredients, you're not doing any good for your body. You'd be better off with the apple and a banana. Uh, some of the worst foods that I eat are like my breakfast foods or my snacks, my desserts. So right now for breakfast, I have, just because it's easy, like I said, I'm autistic with ADHD. So cooking is something that either I do it and I do it good or I won't do it for a week. Um, so one of my convenience foods for breakfast are these little apple turnover things. And it's one of the few things that I will buy that has ingredients that I know I'm not supposed to eat just because it's convenient and I like it. So I still do eat some bad shit. Um, but I make the choice between like the lesser of two evils. So for my dessert, I got an apple pie. And I was looking at these blueberry scone things or whatever they are, blueberry cheesecake Danish things. They had carrageenan in it. So the apple pie doesn't have carrageenan. Apple pie is a better choice, at least in my opinion. Fewer ingredients, most of which I know what they are. Um, and it's things like that that keep me from falling into whatever fucking crazy stupor you think I'm going to fall into based off of your harassment, your neuro changing uh tactics. You guys are trying to figure out how I think. I think differently every day. Once you're presented with new information, the ability to change your opinion is everything. The people who stay stuck in the same place or feel like they are sinking in quicksand are people who refuse to change their beliefs based on new information. People who continue to do the same thing over and over again without different results, that's insanity. Those are the easiest things to explain and understand, and I don't understand how so many people are still here, at least in my building, thinking that they're gonna make me go crazy. Uh, I'm really good at acting as well, I think, and I could make you think I'm gonna go crazy whole time I'm recording all the shit that you did to me. And then people understand, "Oh, well, that's why she's like that. Why am I like what? Why do you care about what I am?" Um, so this has something to go back, well, when I talk about owning and Jalen, my neighbor who had the or has the, clothing company. What I think of his clothing company, I don't know where he's at right now, but at least when I saw it, it looked to be blanks that were just, given a little bit of attitude. Like he was repurposing clothes that he bought already assembled. My personal fashion design, I don't care to sell to the masses. I'd rather have one client pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars than 100,000 clients pay me 10. What is more work? I think is more quality work working with one person versus a billion. Um, so one of the things Jalen had asked me, and I'm going to explain this story because maybe it will be relevant at some time in the future. Um, one of the things Jalen had asked me, and he's the only resident also of my building to ever uh communicate with me and get my Instagram. I did not and that's where all of this started. That's when all of like the real weird shit started to go down. So I linked up with him on Instagram, saw he's a designer, blah 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 whatever, and I don't know if that was him trying to uh, get access into my personal life and see like what kind of sewing machine I'm using, what kind of equipment he has the potential of coming up on if he were to be able to get me to leave this place. Like if they were to be able to get their way, like they wanted to kill me. They're really trying to kill me. Um, but that's a story for later. When I say they, I'm referring to whatever network it is that sent these people. Um, so he had asked me if I could make some beanies for him. And I had let him know for $60 an hour. I can do that for $60 an hour because that's how much my time is worth to me. Um, and I don't know if he liked that or not, but for less than $60 an hour, he can go, if he's smart, source people who can make it for $2 an hour. Um, but I don't know, right? Or they could do it by piecework. So he'll be paying $3 for a completed item. Uh, just to keep me busy and not working on my own stuff. Really, I think that's what that was. But he didn't want to pay $60 an hour because the request that you're making, you're asking for a real fucking designer to work on shit for you when you all you do is like cut and paste. So I hope that you get your designer shit together and really start designing some shit. Go to fashion school, figure out patterns, how to work a sewing machine, you know how to do all of that. You don't need to talk to me. You don't need to get ideas from me. We don't need to be friends. We're not part of the same circle. I don't know you for nothing. Um, so I don't know if you thought you were going to own me and all of my equipment. It's not a bunch of equipment. It's a fucking heavy duty sewing machine and a serger. And if you want to get a serger, be my guest because a serger is probably one of the most fucking frustrating machines you'll ever use. And uh you may never learn how to use it. So when you meet a bitch who sews and tells you that she knows how to use a serger, leave her the fuck alone because that's four spools of thread that bitch knows how to keep straight. Not just straight, the tension on that thread, uh, not fucking up projects, continue not breaking needle like, you don't understand what goes into operating a serger. You don't understand what goes into me. You don't understand much of anything. You're gonna lose if you keep going up against me. Uh, these people in the comments are some of these stalkers. Um, I'm not even gonna pay them any mind. But let's go back to it. I don't know where it was that I heard, but somebody was mentioning something about you shouldn't mess with people who know how to sew because sewing is basically reverse engineering. Every sewing project has to take in consideration start to finish at every step. So there's when you see a bag that has a liner, how many of you think about how is this made? I do. I do, and I know how it's done because I've done it. Um, you have to turn the bag inside out. You sew the two pieces and you put them together, but you have to leave a little hole. And if you don't leave this hole, your whole project's going to be fucked up. And if you don't know to leave the hole, you're going to be frustrated when you get to the part where you have to turn it back inside out. So if you don't understand the process that goes into sewing, you're never going to win over me. Like whatever it is you're trying to win, like if you're trying to defeat me, go pick up a sewing machine, learn how to use it, learn how to use a serger, go get certified to ride a bike at the velodrome, uh, get a cosmetology license, go do all the things that I've done, and then you can defeat me. Um, I've done things that require quite a bit of focus. I've done things a lot of people don't want to do. The things that I do continue to put me into like 1% and 2% groups. Start doing some of that shit, and then you won't even fuck with me. You won't even have a need to fuck with me because you'll be doing some shit that only 2% of people do, and you'll be so happy that you're doing it because 98% of the other people in the world don't give a shit about doing it. You are the 98%. You're doing what 98% of everybody else is doing. Why would you want to do that? I don't wanna be anything like anybody else. I will continue to be in my 2% by myself. Well, with another 1% or whatever. Um, so that's all. I'm just saying, if you are out there watching this video and you think that I'm a bad person or you're gonna go and join up with this group to harass me and try to make me look mentally ill, I challenge you to a sewing project, uh, what do you call it? Extreme sport and a job that pays you enough to survive. Like a legal position in which you're able to do your life without harming other people. I challenge you to do all of those things, and if you're able to do all of those things, your life will be complete and you won't need me. Oh, and to train animals, right? That's my relationship because in life you need certain things to feel complete. A hobby, a sport, a job, and a relationship. And I have all of those things, I feel so complete. I'm wishing the same for you. Yeah. So train animals to ride on motorcycles and then come try to fuck with me.